So today I'm going to show you how to build my little woodcutter in its most simplest form. It's nothing too stressful. It strangely looks a little bit like this. And this is how I'd suggest to build it in its most simplest form, because hopefully it will be the smallest that you need it to be. So for me, what I would do is I'll start off with a little block like this. Basically what I'd recommend is you start with something like this. So it's 2 blocks, then 4 high, sort of 3 wide, 4 down and 2 wide. Long story short, the very base of this should be 5 blocks wide with a gap in the middle. And the gap in the middle is where our saw blade is going to sit. Put our saw blade in, it's going to be something like this. We're going to put the piston in, then we're going to put the block, then we're going to put a bearing, and then we're going to put pipe piece. Then we need to come out by 4, and we'll just square this off. Same this side, come out by 4. And we'll just square this side off. Lift this up and come on the inside, the underneath block. Come down by 4 on that. That should be plenty. Do that on both sides. Now this is where we're going to be mounting our front wheel. And what I'm going to say to you is come out 2 blocks, because you want it to be a little bit stable. Because if we didn't do this, be a little bit too top heavy and it'll probably roll over. So at the very front, I've come out 2 blocks, put a bearing, and then we put a block underneath that. We're going to put a bearing on the side, put our wheels on that, bearing on the side, and put our wheel on that. And now for the rear, we're going to have to extend this out a little bit. I'll say come out 4, this should be plenty. The reason why we do this is because we're trying to split the weight of what's on top. So again, match it up. Come out by 2. Under by 1. Just to keep it symmetry. And put your rear wheel on that. Same with this. So out by 2. Down by 1. Bearing and wheel. Then we've got a sneak underneath here. We're going to put another bearing on the pipe, and then finally we want to put a saw blade also onto that now bearing. And that is basically what our design is going to look like in its most simplest form. Then we're going to throw in our seat, and you can put this wherever you like. We're also going to put in a switch, a push button, an engine, and a controller. The controller has to be at least level 3. Then we're going to hook it all up. So we're going to hook our engine up to our drive wheels. And to our seat. And obviously we're then going to hook our seat up to our steering wheels. Like so. Top this up with fuel. And we'll give this a blast. Yep, that's good. We're not rolling over, we're not falling over. Okay, now you want to set up the saw blade. Now to set up the saw blade, what you need to do is hook the controller up to both the bearings that are on the pipe work and the blade. Now with these bearings, it's important that they're both turning in the same direction, which they are. Then in the controller, make these both 360 degrees. Set the controller speed to its limit, or as fast as you want it. If you have a level 5 controller, go full beans. Really won't matter. It has to be at least the speed in the level 3 controller. And set that to loop. Connect that controller up to the switch. Connect that switch up to the seat. Then we need the piston. Connect the piston up to the push button. And finally connect that push button to the seat. And that is it. That is the very basic that you need and able to cut down trees using this machine. Then you just got to find a tree. You activate your controller to start spinning that blade. Get into that tree. Get nice and close. And you cut it down. Let it fall down, and now what you got to do is using this machine, you just simply straddle it. And then once you're over, push your push button down, and you'll realise we've not set up the piston. Hop off. Have a look at your piston, and you want to set that up I put mine always to the limit of 7. And always double check. Sometimes for whatever reason these pistons like to reset. So then you straddle the tree, and if you push your push button, you'll see that we make contact with the tree. Now what I suggest to you is don't just full on press it down. You can, but obviously you lift us up. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You could find out exactly in the piston how far down you go. So it looks like that'd be like level 5. So if we set this piston to level 5. Now press the piston down. That'll go right to the floor without lifting us up. However, if we go over a tree, obviously, it's going to lift us up. There are 2 ways to combat this. For me on my world, you'll see that I run with the resource collectors hanging off the sides. But you could also eventually make this thing out of concrete or heavier material, and it will keep you nice and heavy. The easiest way is to just simply be light on the push button. As soon as that blade makes contact with the tree, just ease off that push button and kind of pulsate it so that the pressure is constant, but you're not actually lifting yourself up. And you'll nibble through those trees as easy as pie. It's that simple, nice and simple design, nice and easy. You don't necessarily need to use a controller to run the bearing that has the blade on it. You can use a gas or electric powered motor. And if you do that, you might not need the bearing and the pipework. You could just come from the piston straight to a bearing, straight to the saw blade. But it's all up to you. I find this works for me, and like I say, using a level 5 controller, I can have up to 5 blades spinning at any one time, and it's not going to use any fuel. Hope that's good enough for you guys. Remember, once you've got this basically worked out, you can scale it up to have as many or as little blades as you like. This is just showing you guys that you can do it with 1 blade and you don't need too much stuff. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again. I hope it's useful for you. If there's any problems, any questions or anything that you need to add, just let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can help you guys out. Thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye for now.